Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to Play It Painted Live. We're kind of going slow tonight. Nobody's on yet, and no viewers yet, but that's okay. Decided to hit the record button because I had already begun painting. And so what are we painting tonight? We're painting Sven from Arena Rex. So we'll close in on this model. Hopefully we get some, oh, maybe not so much focus there. But anyway, this is Sven from Arena Rex. I'm also kind of working on a few others as just kind of side while I paint. So this is Varger. And then, if possible, I have a couple of other models built just to show you really quick. We've got Mago. So there's Mago. And then we have Beatrix. So I don't even know what you can see and what you can't see because everything's primed white and pretty light colored at the moment. So what I'm doing is I'm actually, anytime I start with a new range of miniatures, and Arena Rex is a new frontier, really, I start painting with the models that are, we'll just say, the least appealing to me. So I like to start with those because you get better as you paint the range. And this is my first time painting anything from the Arena Rex range. And so this is, this is out of my comfort zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint this guy pretty slowly. And we're kind of going to discover this together. I'll do a little bit of rambling of my impressions of this range and maybe even the game. However, I kind of wanted to restrict the game discussion to when I have Phil Howard or somebody else on the show that has some experience playing Arena Rex. Because I think right now, from the folks that regularly show up on the show, I would say Phil and myself have the most experience. So yeah, that's what we're working on tonight. You can see it's kind of a bend here in his spear that I'm trying to work out without having to do the hot water dip because it's such a small piece. But yeah, so right now I'm in with the super fine brush. Should probably pull the camera over here just to show you what I'm doing, but I mean, this is some pretty precision stuff I'm in right now. And I don't want to ruin it, just to show you guys a couple extra brush strokes. Okay. I'm sure we're going to have some people hop on later. If not, no biggie. We get to paint tonight. And also kind of cool because, finally the Extra Life stuff, the raffle stuff is over. So tonight we can really just kind of get back to what this show is about, which is, painting and playing miniatures games. So it's kind of nice to be back doing that. And, that Extra Life stuff was quite an experience. I have a lot of thoughts on it. At this point, I don't think that they're interesting enough to share, given the timing. So we'll talk it, I'm sure we'll just talk about that at some other point. Overall, though, very positive experience, and but I learned quite a bit during that whole journey there, and I'm very grateful for it. So overall, very, very positive experience. And yeah, I feel a little bit wiser for doing it. So I'm very grateful for it. So right now, painted in the eyes, and I'm shaping the eyes with my typical deep skin tone from Vallejo Model Color. I may change this at some point, change this base scheme here for flesh, depending on how this miniature turns out. Part of the reason why I'm going so slow on this model. So I really want to see, how this whole thing pans out. So Sven, you are the you have the distinct honor of being the very first Relic Knights model that I am going to paint. So once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. If you are painting, or you should be painting, let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep painting my buddy Sven here. The amount of detail on these models is without parallel at this scale. I mean, what I told somebody yesterday about these models is that these are display quality models. You know, these are for what I would consider to be the serious hobbyists, the folks that want to build these and paint these, because they really are a step above just about anything else I've painted. But they're not without their drawback, and we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so got the shaping done around there. Why does this model already have color on it? Well, I did do some preliminary airbrushing. You can see the airbrushing on the blade there. Got the blade and the spear tip. Did the lighting there. Did a just kind of a test flesh spray to see how that would look. And it looks okay. I don't know that airbrushing the base flesh coat really helps or harms, but it is an extra step. And so, you know, if I'm going to come back and do this to the flesh anyway, there's really not much point for me to airbrush the flesh parts on other models. That said, let me point out Varger here, who is, you know, kind of a more of a Native American feel, and his flesh is very, very ruddy or bronzed. So I was using Vallejo Air wood as that sprayed base, and I think it looks fantastic. So I at least learned a little bit about how to paint some Native American flesh. All right, so I am gonna just finish this flesh undercoat, and then I'll toss out an invite to folks. I don't think anyone's even watching right now, which is okay. Doesn't actually stop me from painting. Okay. Oh, gotta paint the feet. Super important. A lot of these models are barefoot. And Sven here has a really awkward stance. His foot is, he's in contact, 2 points of contact with the base here. And you notice I didn't do anything to the base. It's because I really want to try out that marbleized effect that I did, I don't know, must have been a couple years ago now, on a resin model, and I thought it was really cool. And Arena Rex might be another place where I can take that particular technique. Okay, so there we go. Still feel like like this eye is just not working. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. I don't even know if you guys can, if anybody will be able to tell that this guy's eyes are dotted in and that a lot of precision went into that. Does it really matter? No. As long as people think it looks cool on the board, and as long as I enjoy playing with the model, that's all that really matters, right? I don't want it to look so bad that I can't tolerate the sight of it. So there's that factor. But ultimately, that's about it. Not a whole lot else that I need to be wary of. So, okay. Come on, you. So I'm going to dot the I. Come on. That's just how it's going to look, isn't it? I don't think I can even get away from that. That's just how it's going to be. Okay, well, let's deal with that. There we go. Now that's starting to look a lot better. You know, when you paint Relic Knights and you're used to these, or Super Dungeon, and used to these huge areas for eyeballs, painting in the regular eyeballs, kind of weird. Okay, so let me toss an invite over to Jillian. I know she's on mobile. She mentioned she was going to pop on and ramble as well. So I'll invite her. I'm going to invite a few people. Just see who pops on. And okay, that's pretty good. So anyway, we're going to just keep painting here, folks. I'm going to move that mouse. Okay, so on with the flesh formula here. So that's the undercoat. I'm going to go. I'm going to mix in. I guess I'll mix in some basic skin tone, kind of like I always do, and let's just see where it goes. So basic skin tone. There we go. Mix that in. Ooh. Oops. There's a big old part of the back here I missed. It's not good. Let's go fill that in real quick. I'm also starting to notice that I'm running low on basic skin tone, or deep skin tone, which means I'm going to have to make a trip to the hobby store back at some point and get this color refilled, because this is a mainstay color for me. All right, so there we go. Got some of that filled out. Now I'm gonna do it's not even the first highlight, it's almost an under highlight. So it's deep skin tone, and then you mix in basic skin tone, about 50-50. And then you come in with your first, scoot this over. There you go. Come in and do your first undercoat. So this is going to be a nice, kind of a big, broad highlight here. Don't worry about it being super, super clean when you do this. Just go ahead and hit the highlights. And this is going to be about an 80% highlight as far as the total area. Some people don't do much more than this, and the truth is, you stop at wherever you feel you've got the tone and the depth the way you like. I do minimum 4 layers for skin. And on this guy, it may be a little bit more because Arena Rex the musculature on the models is such a big part of the detail that you don't really want to lose that. Once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you are painting, let us know what you're painting. Or if you're not painting but thinking about painting, let us know what you're thinking about painting. Because thinking about painting is also somewhat important. So yeah, his eyes are really realistic. So I'm cutting them in real small, almost to scale. Like even if this were to actually go to scale, a model this small, you probably wouldn't see any eyes on the model. You'd probably just do two little black dots there and be good with it. But no, it's they do have some eyes, so we're gonna do that. And then again, the musculature is just insane on these, so I'm gonna be a little bit exaggerative on my highlighting, a little bit. So Sven, he's obviously some sort of Nordic style warrior. He's going to be from the Zephyri faction from Arena Rex, and the Zephyri are sort of, I guess, a combination of Norse and like Native American warriors, and I really like both of those kind of backgrounds, and so that's why I, for my Kickstarter, I leaned in pretty heavily towards those two factions. And then my most represented faction from the Kickstarter is going to be Legio 13, and also the I forget what they're called, the Egyptian faction, which I know Phil went heavy on, so I figure he can complement my collection and vice versa if we branch out a little bit. Okay, so first layer going down. Again, this first layer is going to be a little rough looking. You can already see that the highlight, it's just, the exaggeration is just too high. And I'm doing 80% of the model, so it's almost like I'm going to cell shade it or something like that. But I'm really not. I'm just preparing it to accept some wash. There we go. So let me put this down. We're going to give it like a 10-second dry, and then I'm going to load comments, see if there are any comments for us while we're painting here. Okay, so there we go. We'll let Sven here dry for a second. Let me load up some YouTube comments. I wonder if we were even... Okay, so we've got 2 watching. No comments yet. And let's load up Q&A. Sometimes people pop into Q&A. No Q&A just yet, so that's okay. All right. So now, next thing we're going to do with Sven is we're going to wash the flesh. Now you notice I didn't really let that flesh dry for too long, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I thinned it down. This layer is so thin that most of it is really dry at this point. And 2, when we do add the wash and it's just barely dry, sometimes it will help. It actually will kind of blend and soften up some of these super hard lines here. So I'm adding some Seraphim Sepia to the model. And I'm not exactly flooding the model, but I'm being liberal, and but also conscious of where I'm actually putting this stuff. Should look pretty good actually once I'm done washing. But then I'm actually, once the wash dries, then I'll actually be into painting at that point. He has this cool little like spider satchel on his, I don't know if it's a medal or a satchel or whatever, on his chest, kind of slung around there. Okay. Ooh. There's getting used to this type of resin is another ballpark here. So I'm gonna put this wash down, just one layer wash, and then I'm gonna show you guys what some of this stuff looks like unassembled, and just give you guys a little bit of my comments about, you know, how I feel about this particular material that they're using for the Arena Rex models. All right, so just about got everything with wash. Looks like it. Back of the heel there, part of the elbow. Okay, looking pretty good. Yep. All right, so there's Sven. Lap that up. And we're gonna let Sven dry for a minute here. I'm gonna close that. And we're gonna talk about Arena Rex. So here we go with, let me pull a couple of the models for you. Okay, so Arena Rex models are multi-part resin, 32 millimeter models. They're super, super highly detailed, like highly detailed, to a fault detailed. And so the models themselves come on these multi-part blisters like this, and you are to clip them off the blisters. I believe this is Hermes. Yeah, this is Hermes. And he's actually one of the points I would make here. So as you can see, the level of detail is fantastic on these. But this resin is not without its issues. Obviously, it's resin, so you're going to have to clean it up with a little, mild detergent and some water. So you're going to give it a bath, clean all the release agent off of it. You have to use super glue. You can't use, like this stuff. You can't use plastic cement on these. It's not going to work. And then there is a brittleness. There is a brittle factor to this. If you look at stuff like, here's Viatrix, and if you look at her blade, if you can get that to focus, look at her blade there. It's super, super thin. So you're thinking super, super thin, brittle resin. And you can even see like the feathers. One of the feathers snapped off because they were so, the tip of the feather actually snapped off because it's just so fiddly. And, she's standing on one tiptoe on these bases. And you've got, like a little piece of her sash here sticking out. I mean, this thing, I could literally just blow on it and it might snap. And it's not a testament to the quality of the resin. It's just how thin and delicate the pieces are. There are some pieces like say like Mago. You're not going to have really any problems with him. His pole arm you might replace, but that's a pretty thick pole arm, and most of Mago here is pretty solid. But yeah, feathers are a problem, and especially for me, I'm playing the faction that has a lot of feathers on it. You can see here, these inside this little square here, those are 2 feathers that glue into Hermes' helmet, and Hermes has these tiny little pin-sized holes on either one. And what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to be able to do, is clip these feathers out. And there might be a little protrusion or something that drops into that pin-sized hole. Well, the fact is there isn't, because it's just way too small. So they can't key anything that small. But they want, but you want to have the aesthetic of the feathers, on the helmet, because it looks really cool, right? Beatrix, it looks really neat, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful miniature. But in terms of practicality, in terms of play, it's a massive concern of mine. It is. I love these miniatures so far, and we're going to see how Sven turns out here, and they're beautiful. And they're going to be great. I think they're going to be amazing once painted up. A couple other issues too, like that bend there, you can see. But yeah, as far as playing with these miniatures, man, I'm worried about that. The bases are a high point. I really like the bases. These come on 30, 40, or 50 mil bases, and they're not rounded lip the way a lot of other games are, like Eldorado, Relic Knights, most of the other games I play. They're actually flat. They're it's like a beveled lip here, and they're flat, and it's just a beautiful beautiful base. I think the bases are plastic too, with the little Arena Rex print on the back of them. They're beautiful bases. They really are. It's one of the nicest parts of this Kickstarter. The bases are really great. The detail on the models themselves are really great. You're just paranoid about stuff breaking on you, because I can just totally see that happening. And in fact, I'm no stranger to miniatures or resin kits. I didn't really do fine cast, but that was on purpose. But I did like Studio McVeigh stuff, and obviously Wargamma resin, which I don't even count, because Wargamma, their resin is just so durable that and they cast nice thick pieces there that don't have much fiddliness to them, but they also have a lot of really, really awesome clear detail on them. But enough of my dandy commercial. But you get my point. I mean, I've worked with resin before. Metal miniatures are still my favorite, and this is one of the reasons. As awesome as it is to have great detail on this resin miniature, I still love how metal miniatures hold the detail that they have, and I still love how metal miniatures can be pinned for added strength, and also metal miniatures can you can do stuff like replace a polearm easily with a piece of brass wire, whereas here this would be a little bit difficult, trying to get that resin spearhead to attach to a piece of brass wire. Probably just not quite as fun. Sven is kind of a pale dude because he's Nordic, because his name is Sven. And I understand I'm making some assumptions there, but I think I'm on the right track with my assumptions. He's probably Nordic. His name is Sven. He's got a beard, and apparently from the card art, he is fairly fair-skinned. Okay, so now I'm actually coming in with what I consider to be the first base coat, which is that same mixture of a deep skin tone and basic skin tone. And I'm just going over where I was prior to the wash. If you guys have any questions or comments, please drop them in below. Okay. So, let's recap what I did last week for you guys. You guys can put in the comments what you did last week, if you so choose. Let's see. No comments yet. Okay, it's fine. Appreciate you guys watching. Okay, so yeah, last week Jose and I played another game of Relic Knights. We tested out the Void versus Prismatic. I'm sorry, Void versus Radiant, I should say. And, you know, a lot of people online are saying that Radiant has it better than Void does at the moment. I, at least based on our one game, I'm inclined to agree with that. But we're going to have to play more games to figure it out. I did actually film it. It's going to take a bit of editing to make it so that you're not sitting there for, you know, an hour or so watching a far-off shot of me and Jose pushing miniatures around. I just don't find that very entertaining. So I'm going to go with that similar format to what I did on that Eldorado battle report, which if you haven't seen it, it is on the channel. It's kind of a mix of some sped-up live-action footage, and then I add some stills in there, I add captions in there, and I add some cool Dynasty Warriors 4 music, kind of give you that rock feel to Eldorado. But yeah, locally, Eldorado's kind of back on a little upswing here. We're playing it a bit more now between the last, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks, especially like right after the Relic Knights tourney. You know, people wanted a break from RK, and I was like, hey, let's break out this Eldorado again. And the local guys were totally cool with that. So we broke it out again. We've been playing it. And I got to say, yeah, I missed Eldorado. It's super fun. So we've been playing it quite a bit. We actually, so we had Sunday was RK. Tuesday, or last night, I should say, we were back playing some Eldorado. Taught a couple of people Eldorado. One was a refresher, really, and the other guy just was the guy that won my painted Eldorado set for Extra Life. So I was like, yeah, sure, of course I'll teach you how to play it. That was kind of the point of me giving one away, was so that somebody, you know, might actually want to play now that they have painted miniatures and cards and ready to go, and it's 200 points, and they don't have to do anything besides show up, put the miniatures down, and ask me how to play them. So yeah, last night played a game of Eldorado. Actually, I more refed one, and so it was Samael versus Tariq, and the player playing Tariq had played Eldorado before, but it'd been a while before since he'd played a game, and he decided he was going to try to achieve Tariq's victory condition. Well, guess what? Samael is really kind of the sacrificial type of officer. You know, he can take damage for his company, and he can actually die and heal everybody back up. So it's kind of a bad matchup with Tariq. So,
Hi.
hello. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm here. I'm gonna mute myself and eat my food, though.
Yeah, go for it. It's fine. I'm just recapping what's been going on in the past week.
Awesome. I'll eat quickly.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, that Eldorado game was interesting, but kind of a letdown in a little bit because it's two brand new players, and one player pulled off the Tariq win condition, and it ended the game rather quickly. So a little bit disappointing. Kind of like I imagine it's kind of like your first few games of War Machine when people run up and caster kill you. But luckily these two guys are both veteran miniature gamers, and so they should be okay with that result. And after explaining to them, hey, it's one of those things where you pick the right officer and you pick the probably one of the worst matchups, and that's how it played out. Not so bad. So we did that, and then afterwards we played some, guess what, multiplayer arcade, because I don't know why, but we always end up doing that on Tactical Tuesdays. We end up playing a multiplayer game of arcade. And Black Diamond has really been on a tear lately on the local scene. Black Diamond players very fond of that Suspect 7 and one-shot type builds where you've got one shot just basically storing up Esper to do Daystar Cannon or Daystar Blast, and you're using Suspect 7 to do all your objective running. And Suspect 7 is a very efficient objective runner just based on her mechanics. So we played a 4-player game of that on a 3x3 table, 35 points each. That's a bit tight, just so you know. Even though I say you can do it, it's really tight. And the games are ridiculous, but that's kind of why you're playing arcade at that point in the evening. You got your serious business game out of the way, and you want to just unwind and have a little arcade action, and it's all good. It's fun. And we tried to teach one of the local guys arcade through a multiplayer game with a bunch of guys who had, sadly the rest of us have all these inside jokes, and because we play arcade every week, and this poor guy got a little bit lost in the mix, but I hung around, coached him a bit. He told me afterwards that for him the jury's still out on arcade. He doesn't know if he likes it or not because he didn't. And I'm like, yeah, granted that one experience just wasn't. It really wasn't an educational experience, I guess, for him, because arcade is just such a weird. It's just such a left of center game that your first impression of the game may not be completely overwhelming and exciting the way some of your other experiences playing games are. Also, arcade is not. It's not a very linear game. It's not designed for what we call linear thinking gamers. And let me expand on that for a little bit, and also point out that I don't mean to offend any groups of gamers here. But for my example, we'll just use War Machine arbitrarily and just say, sure, that's a linear game, right? Because it's turn-based. It is very combat heavy, combat focused. It has an auto win condition to it. When people talk about War Machine, they talk about very specific combos, and those combos are very well known. So stuff makes sense in War Machine, and you can argue that there may be an actually correct way to play War Machine or field War Machine, right? So it appeals to in my opinion, it appeals to a linear thinking type of gamer. I want to be able to put this combo and this combo together. I want my playstyle to work this way, and I expect a morally perfect universe. When I'm using the term morally perfect instead of balanced, because balanced is just such a weird word to bring into it, in my opinion. And we could talk balance for like 9 hours on this show, and then you'd think I'm weird for not necessarily considering balanced a compliment when we're talking about game mechanics, because I don't necessarily find the word balance to be the holy grail that a lot of other miniature gamers and maybe even some tabletop gamers believe it to be. But yeah, arcade just not a very linear game. The words. One of the advice I was giving last night was like, think of arcade as being more of a permissive game rather than a prohibitive one. In other words, if something sounds ridiculous, there's still a chance that it's allowable. And because it's allowable, you might think that the game is screwy, or it has giant holes and giant flaws in it that nobody considered. Maybe they don't understand the basics of the miniature games. But that's when you're looking at arcade from the standpoint of a, once again, linear-minded player, where you're expecting those combos to be spelled out for you. You're expecting you have definite expectations of what your game should do, what the models in the game should do, and how everything should behave. And arcade really kind of flies in the face of that. So just be careful when you are evaluating arcade and you feel that something is overpowered, because it may not be. You may have to play it a few times. You will probably discover half a dozen other things that are more you will consider to be more overpowered, and at that point you may understand that, hey, this is a V1 deep game, and that you're going to feel that way until you gain more experience, and then you will probably feel a different way.
I haven't gotten a chance to play arcade yet.
It's a very different game. Yeah, it's be prepared for a very, very different experience. And in fact, the first game might be a little underwhelming because you're not really sure what to do in the first game. You're not really sure. The first game for me, anyways, just felt like I was just kind of digging through cards looking for the right color, and just managing my queue kind of on the fly without any real forethought as to what I'm putting in queue. And arcade, once you really start playing it, you start to analyze stuff like that. What am I putting in queue? Why am I putting that in queue? You want to make sure that every single activation you have has some very specific purpose to it. Otherwise, you will find yourself falling behind in the game. So, anyway, so that's what's been going on lately. A lot of fun last night playing some Eldorado and playing some arcade. It's always a good night for me when I get to play both of my favorite games. And so, yeah. So tonight we're painting up some Arena Rex.
And I'm stripping paint off of some Scorn.
You're stripping paint off of Scorn. Okay. Are you preparing to play some more War Machines? War Hordes?
Nope, I am preparing to pay the gentleman that made some of my art.
Okay.
I'm paying him in slave labor. In that I am stripping, like, probably 200 points worth of Scorn.
But you're not expected to repaint these?
Nope, these are not for Jill.
Okay.
I just have to strip them.
That's cool. So, what have you been up to in the last week, Jill?
What happened since last week? I did my second Extra Life stream. I didn't end up doing the whole thing because I was crazy sick, which was not fun. And no, I wasn't hungover. Everyone's saying that I was hungover because it was the day after Halloween, but I genuinely wasn't. I didn't drink at all on Halloween.
That's a
Yeah.
bummer.
That I didn't drink it all or that I got sick?
That you got sick.
Yeah. It was not a good time. But that's okay, it happens. Other than that, I haven't been really getting up to too much dorky. My grandmother's in town, so I'm not really getting too much time to spend on minis. Oh, I got my Relic Knights showed up,
That's cool.
which is exciting.
Nice.
So I
What did you get again?
the Diamond starter box and one shot.
Oh, cool. Okay. I've been painting a lot of black diamond recently, and none of it that I was keeping. Just painted a lot of black diamond recently. Super, super popular faction.
I am going to be waiting to paint them until I am done painting Super Dungeon Explorer.
Wow, okay. Yeah, because you've got a commission first, and that makes sense.
Paid painting happens first.
Yes. Yep. Okay, well, now I'm at a bit of a loss here. I mean, this flesh is really, really detailed. I have an idea. I'm going to try something. Let me reload comments, though, for a sec, because we haven't done that. So this is literally the very first Arena Rex miniature I'm painting, so I'm going really slow, just trying to understand the strategy I'll have in painting these, because the level of detail is highly insane. Let's see, Canvas. Painted a full unit of Swordsman and UA for my Scorn, as well as a Gladiator Titan. Still waiting for friends to get some new games, though.
Attaboy.
Cool. New games, like new game systems, or just like more
I think it just means more Warmahordes.
Okay. Let's see. So I could do.
Job. Beavis.
You know, I would hate to rewash this, but it almost kind of needs it. And it needs a little bit. You know what it needs is a little bit of red mixed into the wash. It needs a little bit of red. That's way too much red.
I feel like whoever painted these should be shot because he gloss varnished all of them.
He was going for that new factory look Scorn.
Sure. I'm not happy with him.
Let's go with soft tone and a little bit of. I'm going to mix a couple of washes here. So I'm going to mix a Vallejo, their flesh tone, which is super red. That's way red. No one should. No flesh. Even Native American flesh should ever be that red. And we're going to mix that with a little bit of Army Painter soft tone and see what we come up with. So there we go. There's that.
I think I need to get better degreaser than what I'm using.
Okay. A little bit of soft tone. And let's mix that up. I'm going to add some water to that because I want this to be a very, 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 very subtle wash here. That actually looks pretty good. All right, let's try it. So mix two different washes together. Going for a lighter wash here. There we go. This is almost too light. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get any of this stuff stripped off tonight.
Oh,
Maybe I'll have to let it soak a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's already been soaking about 12 hours.
Add one more drop of the red. I'm talking with the brush in my mouth.
I do that all the time.
Alright, so a little bit more red to this. In fact, I'm going to pick up the last bit of wash there. Okay, that's looking a little bit better.
Yep, I'm probably going to end up killing the guy that painted these.
Nice.
Sucks.
Murders.
Murders.
Because murders. I'm gonna go commit murders.
Not really. Imaginary murders. Imaginary make-believe murders.
Sweet. Okay.
Also, I don't think my defense of he painted these minis terribly would stand up in court.
If you had a court of your peers, which would be other miniature gamers, it might stand up.
Oh, it would totally stand up.
Yeah, if you were in a court of your peers and you're like, hey, just look at these miniatures.
Guys, look.
They'd be, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill that guy right now. I don't care if he's already dead. I'll kill him again.
I'll bring him back to life and I'll kill him again. No, this guy like painted his minis and then he painted over that and then one more time. So there's 3 coats of paint that I have to get through.
Awesome.
I thought it was pretty awesome.
Alright, so looking pretty good there, Sven. Let's get him some let's see. Let's find some weird earthy color for pants here. While that's drying. I don't know, man. I may almost go back to it just looks too exaggerated. Looks like way exaggerated. Okay.
I think it looks really good.
It looks good, but I mean it looks hella exaggerated. Like
Are you not a fan of the You're not a fan of the super exaggerated?
Sometimes I am. In this case, I may not be. In this case, I feel like I almost need a glaze over the whole thing just to bring it closer together in color.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try another wash here and see if it helps.
I don't know what sort of glue this guy used, but it's gross.
Maybe he used Gorilla Glue.
Oh, so gross. What kind of glue do you use?
I just use regular super glue.
Yeah.
I use Max Cure most of the time.
Okay.
But then I have the stuff I carry on me is thinner, what I call my field emergency glue. And that's thinner because I don't want to gob it. Because if I have to glue something at the shop, I want to make sure I'm not just gobbing glue on and then like, oh yeah, whatever, as long as it stays up for the game, and then come home and it's terrible. So I go thin glue. So to restrict myself from doing that.
I use Zap-A-Gap. I don't know if that's a thing down there.
Yep, we have Zap-A-Gap here.
That's what I use.
Honestly, my issue with Zap-A-Gap is that it's hard for me to keep the nozzles clean on that consistently, and so Zap-A-Gap.
I use a thumb pin, like a
thumbtack.
A thumbtack, yeah. I pull the lid off, use a thumbtack, and just put on the big lid.
Makes sense.
Grayson and I, we don't share glue. We each own our own bottles of glue. Because
you have.
I'm quite particular about my glue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm really particular about my glue staying nice. And
yeah,
he doesn't seem to care too much.
She says you don't care about glue. I don't know, man. It
He says he
Now
does
it's too
care, but it happens when he's not paying attention, and then he can't fix it.
You know what my current one was?
Oh man.
And now he's blaming one of our gamer friends.
Last tournament we were at, I lent it to Conan, came back like fucked.
Yep, my brother always ruins my glue whenever he borrows it, so I do know that. So I try to reduce the amount of borrowing that happens. And then when if you have super glue and you're at a comic convention, you're kind of a celebrity. Because
so what you're saying is
cosplay malfunction is...
I should bring glue to Adepticon.
No, not...
Not so much
Adepticon, everyone's going to have. Yeah, Adepticon is gamers, so most of them will have glue. I'm talking about Comic-Con or Anime Expo or one of those types of conventions, because cosplayers usually don't have super glue on them, and they need super glue because they have wardrobe malfunctions. So,
not gonna lie, a couple years ago for Halloween, I was a Romulan, and my very, very low-cut cleavagey shirt didn't want to stay closed, so I walked over to our hobby store, which was just like a couple doors down from the bar, and I bought myself some glue, and I fixed it.
Yep. Super glue is... Cosplayers appreciate the people who carry super glue.
I used to just carry super glue in my purse, but that was when I was working at the game store.
Sweet. Okay, slowly we're getting him back to what I like. Slowly.
I don't understand people that paint something and then prime over it and then paint it again and then do that 2 more times.
They're going for that extra thick and creamy look.
I'm sure Canvas is going to have something to say about that.
Extra creamy and thick.
How many?
That was horrible.
So what you're saying is they're looking for that extra thick and creamy look?
Yes.
The look that is extra thick and creamy?
Yes.
And thick?
It's horrible. And thick. In case we missed that part. Thick.
And now I wait for Facebook to make noise.
Okay. Pretty cool looking so far. Yeah. So just getting to know that. So what I'm trying to figure out here is how am I going to properly do flesh on these Arena Rex models that doesn't look like my Relic Knight's flesh, which is like basically for dolls, because I go like hyper light on that to give it more of a cartoony anime.
I probably will too.
But these are, I mean, this guy, like, you can see every single muscle in his body. And so you've got to... You really have to be mindful of where your highlights are going and where the light is coming from.
The guy that
Arena Rex, the miniature... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that these are literally display quality models. The problem is, as I was talking about earlier, is the fiddliness. I'm worried about stuff like this just snapping off when you're playing a game, because you have to push these models on the board quite a bit during gameplay. So I really appreciate the time and the quality they put into the models. I'm really terrified to use them, though. Okay, so I'm going to leave the flesh like that because I'm fairly happy with it.
I was just whining and was gonna say that the guy that put these together pinned every single freaking joint.
Oh, I do that.
Every single joint? Every
Yes.
single one?
Yes. If it's
I
a
don't.
metal miniature, I pin everything.
No, no. There's definitely a couple of the plastic ones that are pinned.
Yeah, if I have to pin plastic, then the manufacturer fucked up. That's all I gotta say about that. I should not have to pin plastic.
I don't think he
It
had
is.
to pin any of this.
He might not. Yeah, your guy there. He might not have to pin anything. But if I have to pin plastic, somebody screwed up, and it's not me. Okay, so we're gonna go medium gray on the Pantas, because that's
Less
hilarious.
Pantalones.
Halloween. That was a fun
Halloween.
thing. So for Halloween, I think I showed you guys last week
Oh my
the
god, you guys are so cute.
little cones that I was putting together, and I didn't tell you what those were for. What those were nozzles that I was building, that I built out of foam and then painted with texture paint and then airbrushed. And those were our nozzles because we were a family of sriracha bottles.
So freaking cute.
Yeah, we were all sriracha hot sauce.
Which way? Okay.
It didn't seem like a model.
Yeah, you guys are kind of adorable. I dressed up as a fox.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I saw a couple of photos of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I spent 3 hours putting on my makeup.
Wow.
Yep. To only stay at the party for like less than an hour. I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't my thing.
Gotcha. Well,
But I got to go
sometimes you're not there, so that's cool.
I went trick-or-treating, and my friend's daughter started, we would stop at each driveway, and she would run up to the house, and then she'd come running back, right? And as she comes running down the driveway, my friend and I were like, oh, okay, come on, Ava. And she's like, Moms! And it's like, whoa. What? Only one of us here is Mom. And that is not me. So we were moms
That's
for
funny.
the night.
Moms.
And I didn't realize that I was co-parenting with anybody. Okay, I'm done stripping minis because it's not
working. That sucks.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we were sriracha bottles, and we went to the mall to take our kid trick-or-treating, which is fun. And my wife entered us in the costume contest, which is also interesting. And we won the costume contest.
So cool.
Which is funny because our costumes were the laziest costumes ever, right? I mean, other than the nozzle, we're talking just red sriracha shirts and some red sweatpants, and that was about it. But the reason why we won is because like everybody else there was like the same four things. They were either a Ninja Turtle, a Power Ranger, Elsa, or Batman. And that was basically it. They were all, there were like 40,000 Elsas in the mall. And it was the first time in many, many years. I'm sorry?
That's terrifying.
Yeah, every little girl, and little girls, they love Elsa, and they want to be Elsa for Halloween, and that's cool. So they were all Elsa, and so we were surrounded by Elsas. And I really think that's the main reason why we won is, one, it was a family costume, and two, we were the only not Elsa, Power Ranger, Ninja Turtle, Batman that was there. Everything else was those same four costumes. So I'm not trying to downplay our glorious victory, but
you guys looked pretty awesome.
Reality. So that's what we did for Halloween. It was super hilarious. I hadn't taken a kid trick-or-treating in many, many years. I didn't even realize you do it at the mall these days, but that makes sense. Because,
I didn't know that you do it at the mall these days.
Yeah, you don't. Apparently, you don't take your kid down the street because creepers. So you don't do that anymore, and that I'm totally cool with that.
You're totally okay with creepers, or not doing it because of creepers?
I'm totally cool with not doing it because of creepers.
Gotcha.
Like that's a very legit reason, and I'm gonna stand by it, and I'm gonna agree not to let my kids around creepers. So.
That is a good idea.
So yeah, that was Halloween. Then the next day, what did we do? Next to nothing, which was cool. Forgot what we did, honestly. And then I played some Acrylic Types again. Sunday. So yeah. Okay. So, looks like only Canvas is watching right now, which is cool because we can talk about something near and dear to Canvas's heart right now.
Is it boobs?
Which is no.
Awesome.
Blue table painting, right, Canvas? We want to talk about that. Actually, I kind of want Canvas to talk about it, but we'll talk about it because.
Do you want Canvas to talk about it? We might be able
if
to
you
convince
want
him to hop on.
Yeah, if he wants to hop on, that's cool. If not, I will just talk about it because it's a thing. It's not a significant thing, not as significant as we think it is, us in the YouTube wargaming community, but it's still a thing. And I keep seeing it pop up. And it's not that interesting to me, but I feel like might as well talk about it because why not? So, okay, so Jill, I don't know if you follow any of the like YouTube stuff, the blue table painting and mini wargaming and all that crap.
Not heavily, no.
Good. Lucky you. Don't do it.
All right.
Okay. That's rule 1. Don't do it. Don't get. Well, I know that you're actively trying to like promote Geek Girl Weekly, and you want to network and be a little bit more involved in the gaming media. But yeah, there's a lot of garbage that happens in gaming media, as you probably know. And those of us, yes, and those of us who are in the YouTube side of it, we have our own shit basically. So anyways, let me back up and explain this whole thing from the eyes of an outsider. So, Blue Table Painting is a rather prominent commission painting service. They've been around for a number of years. Their owner, Sean, is a sort of a personality on YouTube for the folks that watch YouTube wargaming stuff. A lot of people find him grating. A lot of people like him, whatever. Canvas, I can tell, probably not so much a fan. But anyway, what happened was they had a client who also has a fairly big YouTube channel, who sent them some a fantasy army to paint, and it was all Finecast stuff. It was all really expensive. Oh, yeah. Not Finecast, Forge World stuff. So it was all really expensive, GW garbage of expense. Just kidding. I didn't mean to throw in the word garbage. Yeah, it was all expensive stuff, right? And he was not happy with the paint jobs, and frankly, some of the paint jobs looked abysmal for what the guy paid for and whatever. So he made a couple of videos about it. Like, hey, I sent this over to Blue Table Painting. I'm not satisfied with their service. I'm going to escalate my my complaint a bit here, yada yada, and that sends Blue Table into kind of a damage control type thing, like where they basically have to defend themselves, and that's a tough spot, and I can empathize with people that get attacked publicly like that and need to defend themselves, but knowing what I know about Blue Table, I don't feel that bad for them, honestly. And I know a lot of people don't. But the most recent controversy was about their friends over at Mini Wargaming. So miniwargaming.com. I'm sure you've heard of them, right, Jill?
I used to write scripts for them when I was in high school.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you are definitely familiar with Mini Wargaming. So Mini Wargaming, basically, they put out a video and an email to their vault members, or whatever the hell it is that people pay for not paying for things. They put out basically a video and an email to say, hey, we want people to speak only of their positive experiences with Blue Table. So basically they were pimping Blue Table out. Like, let's only capture them in a positive light, and let's basically try to gloss over whatever this large complaint is. And that pissed off a number of people. And this is like one in really what is a long line of complaints that people have had with Mini Wargaming in the past, I want to say 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what your stance is with Mini Wargaming, Jill. But
it's not positive, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean they've had a lot of PR issues lately. This being the latest one. Then you can talk about a lot of other things like dark potential, or just weird shit that David Matt do occasionally, and the idea that I don't even sub to their channel and I don't watch it because what is this? Never mind. Getting interrupted. But so I basically stay away from Mini Wargaming and Blue Table and all that stuff, mainly because they don't interest me, and their agendas don't interest me, and I don't really like asking people on the internet to pay for me to put up battle reports and talk about shit that I do for free. It's my hobby. I understand that they're a business and that they're trying to remain a business, but yeah. I mean, some of the stuff that they ask for is ridiculous, and some of the stuff that, some of the stunts that they pull are just a lot of people are not fans of. So,
well, there's a reason I don't work for them anymore.
Yeah, and this being one of the latest ones in a series of that, I don't know. People showed it to me this week, and they're like, "Hey, are you aware of what's going on?" And I watched it, and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't really care." But yeah, and it just, I don't know that I have anything really to add about it other than I'm not interested in supporting them, or I think that a lot of what they do is really just promotion to try to get into people's pocketbooks, and I don't think that some of the stuff that they try to push on people is valuable or holds value. I just don't. My opinion, whatever. And I'm not trying to say that to put anybody down, but I'm just explaining the reason why I do not follow. I don't follow either Blue Table or Mini Wargaming.
Well,
and go ahead.
I was going to say, on the show, we don't really want to influence anyone's opinions. We just want to get our opinions out there.
I'm really just recounting what I saw, and I'm recounting other people's reaction to it. And but yeah, the aside notes are just reasons why I don't know. They cover stuff that doesn't interest me. They represent interests in miniature wargaming that don't interest me, and I don't really follow it. But people show it to me anyway, and I know that it's for some folks it's upsetting because they see where, I guess they look into some of these actions and they see where, okay, these are people that are, they feel that these are people that are trying to take advantage of others, either their subscribers or people new to the hobby that feel like they have to pay for stuff, pay for information, basically pay for help.
Yeah.
And so I definitely see that. I see that point, and I think there's a lot of validity to it. But
I totally just stabbed myself.
ouch.
I'll live.
But it's really weird in the YouTube community because there are groups like that are considered the I guess elite channels.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And so, me being a YouTuber, you catch wind of stuff like that. People put it in front of you. And then there's all kinds of opinions flying around about it. And my opinion is, well, I don't like them anyway, so I don't really follow them. That's really my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, nah, they don't really do anything that...
Yeah, for me, I don't really care about them anymore because I had a negative experience while trying to help them. So.
Okay, well, I'm sure there's a story there.
There is, and it's gonna stay a private story because things were said and it was a dark time. It was a dark time, Octave. It was a dark time.
But there's just stuff like that's floating around, and yeah. So, for lack of a better term, I will say I'm not interested, and sure, whatever. It's GW 40K stuff. I don't follow that. Okay,
Exactly.
I know about the Space Marines, guys. I understand. Yes, they're the Emperor's chosen. Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, I know. Chaos. Yes, there are orcs. Yes, I know this. It's been around for decades, folks. The funny thing for me, I'll just launch into my own little diatribe here. The funny thing, the part that I find amusing, being so far on the sidelines with this particular issue, is when people come out and say, "Oh, GW was a good stand-up company 2 years ago," and I'm like, "Where have you been? 2 years ago?"
They were?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, and I understand. I don't know. I guess it's just wherever you got on the bus and wherever you got off the bus, I suppose. But yeah. So things. That's all I'm gonna say.
I still love some of the 40K stuff and some of the fantasy stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I still really enjoy some of their models, but I'm not gonna pay that much freaking money. And if I am, I'm gonna get a bunch of really pretty models rather than a bunch of not super pretty models. Like,
Well,
make it worth
I
my money.
understand. Like, yeah, I have a personal bias because I've been looking at GW stuff for 2 decades, and you're just not interested anymore. You just get to a point where, like, okay, I get it, I know the story, and it doesn't matter how many versions of rules or rule books or whatever they come out with. I am still, I left that universe. I'm no longer interested in that universe.
Yeah.
But that's and it's fine that people still enjoy it, and that's totally fine. But yeah, just not me. So it has been like a somewhat frequent topic on this show, and some of my other friends' shows, where we talk about, because there's a group of YouTubers that, like such as myself, that just do the hobby, and we just enjoy putting videos out to share the hobby, and we're not, we don't ask our viewers for money or anything like that. I do have advertising on my videos, and I will explain why I actually have those on my videos. I don't actually get a dime from those ads. The reason why they're on my videos is because those ads will help your video show up a little earlier in searches. And from the standpoint of, hey, I want to put information out there, and I'm hoping people see it, I would rather be a little bit further up the chain just so that people have to click a skip ad than to have somebody, say, misrepresent a game or information, because I find that is very common in the larger more popular channels.
Oh, yes.
I do. Say that. I find that is very, very common. I find that, and it's not a criticism so much as it is an observation of priorities, right? If your priority is on the media itself, making high quality videos, being famous or popular, or putting out funny bits, or trying to hope people like you on the internet, then the priority of the game, the hobby, the subject itself becomes less important. And I think for a lot of these gaming media folks, it becomes less and less and less important, to the point where they're almost completely alien to the topic that they're covering. And there are a few folks out there, some big channels, that's the case. I know even some small channels, right? Like, why are you even covering this if you don't play it and you're not active in that particular arena? That part I don't quite understand. And I've had many people try to explain theories to me about why you would pretend to be a miniature war gamer. That's what I don't understand. I really
don't.
Of all
the things you could pretend to be, why minigames?
Yeah. Why minigames? Why would you pick that? And why would you pick... Some people pick... And if you're... Okay, let's be honest here. If you are trying to be... If you specifically want to be famous in miniature wargaming, not that that isn't a bad idea already, why would you pick, why would you pick not GW? Why wouldn't you do GW, X-Wing? Why wouldn't you do just the big games? Because you're going to get more subscribers, you're going to get more people. And again, I'm not knocking this as a poor, that's not a bad thing, but if that's your goal, you want to be a big miniature wargaming thing, you gotta cover the big guys.
Go for the big games.
Yeah.
Don't be a big fan of Eldorado and Relic Knights.
Well, you can be. You can be, but you also really want to cover the bigger games too. If your expectation is that that everybody who ever plays Relic Knights will know you, and there are a million players out there that will propel you to becoming something, that's not going to happen. If you really are interested in becoming like a Beasts of War, or or Will Wheaton or something like that, you really are going to want to stick with the bigger stuff. So, I don't know. Very strange.
I can't find my Super Dungeon Explorer one-shot. She's on my desk somewhere. I'm just missing a mini.
That's a pretty cool mini to be missing. I'd be pretty upset about that.
She's somewhere.
That's a good miniature.
I
need to paint mine. But I'm trying to figure out this Arena Rex stuff.
I don't know how I want to paint one shot yet, so I'm not even looking at her. This is going to be a great mini to paint. Did you paint Nyan?
Nyan?
Yeah.
Yes. I painted my Nyan like the Marvel Black Cat.
Okay.
Spider-Man's sometimes side girlfriend.
I don't know how I want to paint her. That's one really nice thing about painting this Super Dungeon Explorer set is I've been pretty much given free reign.
Mm-hmm.
Just as long as it's bright, happy colors.
Which you probably would be inclined to do anyway, right?
I actually prefer grungier paint looks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, this, painting this khaki and brown and all this stuff is way outside of my comfort zone.
See, and that's what I love doing.
I normally paint like blues and yellows and, like here's a representative model on my desk. It's like big bright colors on that. And yeah, I think a lot of people tell me, oh no, I'm more comfortable painting browns and earth tones and all that stuff. But me, I don't know. Not so much for me.
Alright, I'm gonna stand up and look for one shot. I had to sacrifice her base, though. That's okay.
Her base?
Yes, her base. Somebody else came with no base.
Oh.
Is my miniature. I sacrificed the base. Because I know that I can get another base down the line. And it's not like I have Super Dungeon Explorer. Like I was just gonna paint her up and like sticky tack her to the top of my computer. Oh, there she is. Found her. She was in with the Relic Knights one shot.
Sweet.
They were having a one shot party.
Why not? They were commiserating. Okay. Coming along pretty well here. The next question for me is going to be, what do I do with the base? I could have put sand down, like Phil did. But that didn't really appeal to me, because I really like the flat bases that they use for Arena Rex, and I wanted to do something. I want to try something a little weird with them, and I hope it works. So we're going to see that tonight too, see if that actually, or if it fails miserably. Miserably. Then you guys can just laugh at me and go, huh? Why did you choose to do that?
I won't laugh at you.
That was a poor decision.
I might laugh at you.
Yeah, you can laugh.
Just a little bit, though.
But let's see how it works. Okay. Almost done. I need some Iraqi sand now. Iraqi sand. Here we go. Oh, you know what else I need to do? Sven. I guess Sven is going to be blonde. Because his name is Sven. Why not? Why wouldn't he be blonde? He's going to be blonde. He's going to be blonde with like kind of old guy frosted tips.
Nice.
Because he's an old looking dude.
I don't know if I want to paint the Super Dungeon Explorer heroes to match the way that they are in the box, or what. I don't know.
Most of the time I just stay close to that out of laziness.
Out of not having to think of paint scheminess?
Yeah, right. Because I painted so many SDE core sets that's like, oh, okay, I kind of remember what this model looks like, and I just go off of that. So if I remember what I did last time,
yeah,
that's what the color is going to be. And I rarely stray.
See, I don't know if I want them to look like every other Super Dungeon Explorer set.
Mm-hmm. No, it's and why would you? If it just I'm super lazy. and they look good
yelling.
Then. So what's that?
I can hear your cat yelling.
Yep. That's George.
Hi, George.
George he's an older cat. He's not long for this world.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
way to bring the mood of the show down.
Nah. That's okay. He had a good life, this George.
Is he one of those like little old cats that like comes and sits on you because his feet are cold?
he will actually. What he likes to do is when you're sleeping, he will position himself to become your pillow because
Okay.
he wants you to rest your head on him. It's kind of cool. And he's a big fan of carbs, which is interesting.
Of bread?
Bread, yes. Bread. He'll eat French fries. He'll eat potato chips. He's an odd cat. All right, where's my medium gray? Oh, I should reload comments and see if Canvas had anything to say about that.
He's at his kid's
Blue
school.
table painting. What?
He's at his kid's school.
Oh, he's at his kid's school.
Yeah.
So he's not watching right now.
No. I sent him a message on the Facebooks.
No, yeah, he only has the one comment. So it's cool. Okie dokie. Alright. So there we go. Let's wash it. Let's wash the bottom part of the model then. Yes, let's do that. And we're gonna use Army Painter Strong Tone because that's just a good all-around wash to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna thin it down just a little bit. And we're gonna wash basically all the pants. All the pants.
Wash all of the pants. Every single pants gets washed.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna put the wash down on all the pants.
I don't know why in my brain that's funny. I
Wash
don't
all the-
understand. Shut up, brain.
Hi, Loki. I
So-
know you.
A pretty simple paint job I got going on here. It's more like let's find out what these models are like.
Oh, Loki likes stitches. What?
Nice. Okay.
Oh man, this guy's stuff is amazing. Have you looked at Orochi's stuff on the forum?
Orochi?
Yeah, on the Super Dungeon Explorer forum. Or not the
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Dungeon. Yeah?
Orochi, yeah.
Amazing.
Velvet Mark. Those guys are awesome.
I am painting my stuff to look like his as best as I can.
Nice.
Because holy crap. At least I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I gotta get back to the SDE Relic Knights miniatures. Those are super nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're super fun. I only painted Kisa.
Yeah?
What did I do with Kisa? She's around here somewhere.
I have
She's here.
Super Dungeon Explorer Kisa.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's the
Oh yeah,
one
sorry, my brain is I'm in like
okay.
post-education school brain right now.
You're like, what are a Kisa?
What are Kisa? Kisa are cat lady. Kisa
Alright.
are badass.
So here we go. Okay, Sven. Looking kind of cool.
Oh, that's really pretty Starfire.
Okay, so now we're going to attempt to do a fake marbleized base. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take some off-white here. I'm going to paint the entire base off-white and let that dry. And I'm going to... So I did this once on a Studio McVeigh miniature.
Okay.
And I really liked it. And I have a video on it, on how to do this fake marble. And with Arena Rex, I'm going to try to figure out how to do it in more of a, I guess, a mass-produced method so that I can do all my Arena Rex bases this way.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how hard it would be for me to do something like that on Super Dungeon Explorer bases.
Probably not that hard. I mean, you already have the
Kind of the stones.
the stone in.
Yeah.
I think most Arena Rex bases, people will paint them, will put sand on them, because that's smart, as opposed to what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, forgot to mention something also really badass that happened. I was talking. Do you know Table War? You do. You know Table War Frontline Gaming, right?
No.
Those guys? Oh.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, they make a number of products, including the Table War case, which is a display type.
Oh yes, I do. I know of them. Yeah.
They're actually the main Table War guy, Doug. He's a local guy. He's down in San Diego, and he's actually been a fan of this show for a while. Like when only 2 people were watching this show, he was one of 2 people, and back then he would, he wanted me to paint up some Alpha stuff and show people how to use the diorama bases and all that stuff, and I got some cool Table War stuff out of it. Well, anyway, their last Kickstarter was for the mini cases, those the much smaller cases, which I think are fantastic. I got 2 in that Kickstarter.
Is that the half size case?
Smaller than the half size.
Okay.
It's a very small case. It's about half the half. It's about half a half size.
Okay.
Half a half size. And so, when they first came out, he wanted my feedback on it. What did you think? And I had a problem with one of my cases. One of my I had a problem with the latch on one of my cases, and we tried to troubleshoot it for a while. And then after a while, I just kind of let it go because, you get busy. It was con season for both of us, and, we forget things. And so the con season came and went, and I didn't think of anything of it. It was like, okay, well, I had one case that had a weird thing to it. It's still usable, but it's a little glitchy. But anyway, what he did was he contacted me recently because we were working on another project, and he just out of the blue, he's like, hey, how's your case doing? And I'm like, well, no, it still has the issue. And he asked me to send him pictures, and then he said, hey, just send me the case. So I sent him the case back, and a couple days later, he sends me a whole brand new case and some extra goodies in there for good measure, and I just thought that was really cool. So I wanted to give Doug and Table War a little shout out here and just kind of be a testimony to their awesome customer service. Just the fact that he remembered, like several months later, that I had an issue with my case probably means a couple of things, because I don't think he likes me that much. I think the reason why he remembers it is because they probably get so few complaints on their cases that I think that's why he remembered that I had one, that I had an issue. But either way, I mean, just the fact that I didn't really ask him for anything, and he went ahead and did me a solid anyway, I think is pretty huge. Mm-hmm. So I was super stoked about that, and yeah, Table War, fantastic product. Check it out, you guys. I'm a fan. I'm a user.
They come in purple.
Oh, they do come in purple, and especially in light of my 2 of the games that I'm playing. Relic Knights is fantastic, but trying to fit Casaroto in a standard foam case is very, very, very difficult. And then for this game, Arena Rex, which I was just saying, the miniatures are fantastic. But if I'm gonna so much as touch these to anything foam, I'm gonna have a heart attack. It's gonna freak me out. I think I'm gonna faint or die or both. And I just
Don't do that.
I don't even want to mess with it. So yeah, that's this is where I'm gonna take that brand new mini case that he sent me, and I'm going to dedicate it specifically to Arena Rex. And the next time I run into Doug, I'm going to teach him the game. This Doug is awesome. So yeah, so that was my little table war story.
I want one of the purple half cases.
The half case is actually my favorite
A
case.
perfect size.
I find it to be the most. Yeah, I find it to be the most useful case.
I don't know why. In my head, I was expecting one shot to be a lot bigger. So I'm like looking online. I'm looking at cases, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what kind of case am I gonna buy? And then I'm like, oh well, I don't know if one shot will even fit in there. So why am I bothering looking at this? And then she gets here, and she's like, oh, she'll fit. She'll totally fit.
I will fit in there. One shot is one of the smaller relic knights. The smallest one is Malia.
Okay.
So Malia and one shot are way small. And then on the opposite end you have Sebastian Cross and Casaroto, which are obnoxiously big.
Like
Casaroto is especially obnoxious because he was already big and then he decided to stand on top of his relic, making himself even more obnoxiously big.
okay.
Oh, why did I do that? That sucked. Okay.
What did you do?
I spilled some of this brown into my off-white,
Oh no.
thereby polluting the off-white forever.
Making
Okay.
it slightly more off-white.
Making it even slightly more off-white. Okay, that's cool. We're going to do that. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is I'm painting in the kind of the veins marbling. So I'm using a couple of dark browns. I'm using a purple, and I'm going to hit it with a little bit of red. And I'm going to paint in way too many, and I'll explain how this process works. So I put way too many down at first, and you're freaking out. It looks like terrible. It's horrible. And we're going to fix it, okay? Because we trust in the process. So relax, one viewer, whoever you are.
Whoever
like the
you
one
are, you
Stop
one
making
viewer.
judgments about my life. And he leaves.
We still love you, one viewer.
We love you, one viewer. You're awesome. Shoot. Where's my good red? It left. Okay, good red's gone. So, we'll use the not quite as good red. It works. Yeah, we'll use this. Probably not a good idea, but who cares? It'll work. It'll fly. It's gonna happen. Okay, so just a couple of veins with this red. And when you do veins, it's kind of cool to kind of overlay them. Because that's cool. Alright. Pretty good. Okay. So you can see there's like crazy amount of veins going on right there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find more of my colors. Where did it go? Maybe I threw it out.
What did you throw out?
Well, I hope I didn't throw it out. I might have, because I never use it. Where did it go?
Uh-oh.
It's okay. Here we go. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a glaze, and I'm going to use a white glaze from Vallejo, and we are going to start glazing on this.
I'm gonna watch you because this is something I want to see.
And when you do a glaze, you go obnoxiously thin. Go as thin as go to unreasonably thin, and then go a little bit further, and you're at obnoxiously thin, and that's where you want to be. So I'm really gonna thin this white glaze. You might even use the argument of, might even be tempted to just use a glaze medium.
Okay.
Because why not? But yeah, your white glaze should be like water thin. And you're just gonna paint this on. And you just paint this on in layers, and you let the veins kind of fade in and out.
And the video for this is on your YouTube channel?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's why that's the not as good red. It just didn't.
Does it bleed?
That was a little too red. No, but you can fix that with your glaze by adding just a little bit more pigment to it. Like you can use a regular off-white. Put that, mix a drop of that with a lot of glaze, and it'll work. Kind of your eraser.
I need a little dropper like that.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them. I just can't find them all. Alright, so now I'm going to use that to just obscure more of these veins. The red was a bad call, but that's okay. See, one viewer was right about me using the red. I shouldn't have used it.
Good call, one viewer.
I'm sorry, one viewer. I'll trust you next time.
We will always respect your opinions, one viewer.
Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I guess I will paint the bottom of the base black. Sure. Let's do that. Because this miniature is basically done.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. It also tells me that I'm probably not going to spend 2 hours per mini on Arena Rex. Probably not going to happen.
That's good.
You're probably going to go a little bit faster. Building them takes a long time because they're so fiddly. I mean, you can take an Infinity model and go, wow, that's super sturdy, compared to an Arena Rex model.
Yeah.
Arena Rex was like, holy crap! I feel the words I was using was, I feel like I'm gluing dried leaves together.
Oh no.
And I'm only really talking about stuff like feathers and beards and really thin poles and that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
Oops. Some of that glaze spilled over. Don't do it. Don't do it, glaze. Okay. Ah, very cool. Okay.
That looks real sharp.
Thanks. The jury's still out on the flesh. I'm not sure if that's...
I think it looks really good, Octave.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Okay. No, I'm not. I gotta let it dry. I'm gonna sit here for a minute and let that dry. Because the glaze is starting to run. and you don't want that. Let's check comments if there are any. Let's do that. No, no comments.
It's a quiet night.
Quiet night again.
At least you and I are slightly more active this week than we were last week.
True. Yeah, oh, a couple other updates. Just while we're here with the one viewer. You might have noticed that part 3 of the introduction to Relic Knights went up, which was cool. That was a lot of fun shooting that with Mark Dieter. I have the rest of the key concept stuff already scheduled to shoot, so we'll see that production ramp back up. It took a backseat to Extra Life while we were doing all that stuff. So my plan is to finish at least shooting everything for the RK intro series by the end of this month, and by the time we hit Thanksgiving, we should at least be into the play example stuff, some of which has already been shot. So hopefully we can get that project out of the way. I always feel a lot better after I do one of those multi-part series. I feel accomplished. That okay, that's done. I don't have to shoot that ever again, and hopefully somebody finds it useful.
Yeah, for sure. I've been meaning to watch it, but I don't know if I want to watch it and then wait for new episodes to come out, or if I just want to wait for it all to come out and then sit down and power watch it, because that tends to be what my brain does.
I don't know if I could. Power watching it might hurt. This series is already shaping up to be longer than the Anima and the Eldorado stuff.
Yeah.
And the old Malifaux series.
Well, wasn't your last episode like 40-something minutes?
Yeah, and me and Dieter had. I told him, I'm like, oh yeah, at the most this is gonna take 20 minutes. But then we got into it. We got like super fanboy, and we started talking about minions and that kind of stuff that we liked and models that we liked.
And for those of you that don't know, if you guys are watching this on YouTube as a recorded video, Mark Dieter hosts the Questing Knights podcast.
Okay, one of us dropped out. I don't know if it was
that
me.
Fun stuff.
Well, maybe it was me that dropped out. One of us dropped out there for a minute.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I'm still here. It was probably me. But yeah, Dieter's a good guy. I really enjoy his. I really enjoy Questing Knights podcast. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, because he. I enjoy his banter with Ryan, and I like their topics. I really like the topics that they've put out so far. Really good topics.
I was on Questing Knights the last episode. I think you were too.
I listened to that. Was I? No, I was on 2. I was on episode 2.
Oh. I was on the most recent one.
I think I get mentioned a bunch of times in the most recent one, but I'm not in it.
That's because you're awesome. Obviously.
I think it's because I am busy all the time, and I try to stay busy.
That is also a possibility.
You know what this glaze needs? Is it actually needs a little bit of color to it. It's a little too clean. It almost needs
like a touch of brown?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking some of this Iraqi sand and just kind of adding just a hair. Well, no, this is probably the wrong tone of yellow. Let's see what I got here. I want it to just have a little bit of yellow to it, like almost, kind of a dingy look to it. Maybe something like dark flesh. Try it. Try it. So I'll mix this with some glaze medium.
Oh man, we did so well for Extra Life. I'm just looking at the Team Pep Extra Life page right now.
Yeah?
We did so well. I'm so proud of all of us.
Woo!
Did I tell you that I got another $100 donation?
Yeah, you did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool. Maybe was it somebody that did they purposely wait until after the auction to do that, or
Yes.
did they? That's cool. So they were like, yeah, I'm not really interested in winning anything. I just really want to donate. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a very, very noble thing to do. And this is totally the wrong yellow. It's totally not going to work. Okay. All right. Maybe Iraqi sand is the correct color. Okay, fine. I will try Iraqi sand. Fine, one viewer.
Fine,
That's
one
actually
viewer. You were right.
Right.
Wait, what? We have more than one viewer?
We were at 3 for a second. The third viewer's like, what? F this noise. And he left.
What is this concoction?
What are
of
this?
stupid?
Broke out. I'm tired of this. Oh, that's nice. So this is almost kind of a Swiss coffee look. I like it. I like it. Going that way. Swiss coffee marble. Oh, yeah. It looks right. It looks correct.
Have you seen the cat yodeling video?
No. I would probably watch it. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it worked.
I'm finding it for you. Copy. Where's Octave? There's Octave. Paste. Alright, you should watch that after
Okay.
all this is done.
Ooh. Okay. And the final touch here is going to be just to take a little bit of the darkest veins that you're going to use, which in my case is going to be purple. And just do teeny tiny little purple veins across the top to give it more of a three-dimensional marble look.
Neat.
But you can do, I still need to dry it before I do that final step there. So we're going to hang out for a minute. And go, what are this? So,
have you seen the What Are This video?
No.
Oh man.
Actually, I say what are this because our friend Mark says what are this all the time, and it's funny.
I say What Are This all the time, and I am going to find the video for you.
By the way, I was going to ask, did you record another episode of Geek Girl Weekly today? Because I think Wednesday's your normal
Wednesday is your normal recording, or it's my normal release day. I did not. As I said, I've got family in town right now. I get to see my grandma maybe once a year. So when she's in town, I'm spending time with her. So
that makes sense.
If I get a chance to record something with somebody, I will toss it up as just kind of a, hey guys, here's some stuff. But
what are this?
What are this? And then I will, if not, I'll put something up next week, and I'll try to make it a longer episode.
Cool.
You and I need to figure out a time that works for both of us to record. Unfortunately, life happened. As it tends to do.
Yeah, it's no worry. I wasn't really sure what we were going to talk about anyway, but I was like, okay.
It's
That's
no
fine.
big deal. Just hang out and talk.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like Wednesday nights.
Okay, this model is super cool. This is Varger, and I like his pose, but the problem is, if you're looking at him head on, like that, he looks like he's trying to kill a child.
Is he
'Cause
trying
he's
to kill a
swinging.
child?
Look at his head is you're looking at him head on, you're seeing the top of his head.
Yep.
And the way his arm is swinging out this way, that's like it looks like he's trying to behead a child. But yeah, really cool model. So that, yes. This model is going to be super fun to paint, I think. Beatrix. She's got crazy six-pack abs.
Yeah, she does.
Crazy six-pack abs. And her winged helmet is badass. And I played her before in the game, and she's a pretty fun model to play.
I don't know if I could rock a winged helmet like that.
It's a pretty sick helmet.
It is. Definitely takes the right kind of girl.
How's my glaze doing? It's doing okay. I don't think it's quite ready to paint on yet, but let me just do a couple of fades, not too many.
So you layer veins and glaze?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's basically it. That's the technique. There's not much to it.
Okay. You should watch the What Are This video before you watch the cat yodeling video.
Okay. I didn't realize there was a progression between What Are This and... It's maybe so that I can watch the cat yodeling video and then properly say What Are This?
Very much so.
Sweet. I like you. Okay. So, I think that's going to do it pretty much. I'm going to reload comments one more time because it's 11 o'clock. I'm probably going to call it a night.
Me too.
Let's reload comments one more time. Beep, beep. Now I have a little more confidence in Arena Rex painting the miniatures and what I'm going to do.
That's good. I'm glad.
Doesn't look like there's any more comments, but that's okay. Once again, this was Sven, and Sven's pretty cool. Kind of like him. And looking forward to painting some more Arena Rex. So, any final comments before we sign off here, Jill?
Everybody should go listen to my podcast, geekgirlweekly.com. I sit down for 20 to 15 minutes a week and just hang out and blurb out the nerd stuff that's going on in my life.
That's, I gotta say that's one of the things I really like about your podcast, is that it's 10, 15 minutes, so I feel like, well, okay, so it's just like hey, let's catch up with this person and see what's going on.
Yeah, and it's nice because you can just listen to it on the way to work or whatever, right? Like,
yeah,
short
that's
and
really
sweet.
Cool. Short and sweet.
Right now it is, at least. I don't know how
Okay.
long it's going to last.
Well, you might do like a longer special or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Thanksgiving special for Thanksgiving or something like
Thanksgiving
that.
already happened, dude. Thanksgiving already happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're Canadians.
I am Canadians.
We have our Thanksgiving later this month. And I had something really off-color to say there, but I'm not going to say it because it's funny.
Good
Anyway, but it was funny American funny, which is super offensive. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And we will catch you on the next one.